Chaiko. The Cursed Marble. A family story passed down through generations by a grandmother. A story about a marble dropped to a bounce in the middle of the night with no apparent explanation within the Alvarado residence, focusing on the experience of the second oldest grandson, Emiliano. My mother used to tell my siblings and I a story that dates back as far as the beginning of my grandparents' marriage, about a marble that would randomly, almost magically appear and disappear in the wake of the night to frighten those within the household who were unfortunate to be awake at that exact moment. Living in Mexico, my grandparents' home was made of solid concrete walls and tile floors, which would make the sound of the bouncing marble echo throughout the entire house. Fascinated by this story, I would constantly ask my mother to retell it until the day came that I would take a trip down to Mexico to visit my grandparents' home and return with a story of my own to tell. My story begins when I was 15 and left home alone one night because of my older brother Jose having to work a late shift. It was about 12:15 p.m. and I was in bed. As I began dozing off watching late night TV, I started hearing what sounded like a glass marble bouncing as it hit the tile floor. The sound echoed through the entire house. What made this strange and frightening is that there was no reasonable explanation for a marble to even be in the house. As I begin to wake up completely, I hear the marble begin to bounce again, sending chills down my spine. With the room I'm in not having a door, I lean up to stare down the pitch black hallway and wait for the sound. Sitting as still as a statue, I continue to stare in the darkness for what seemed like several minutes, but knowing it has only been a few seconds. No longer hearing the noise, I begin to let out a sigh of relief when suddenly the marble hits the tile once more and bounces 3 exact times, just like the time before, causing my heart to drop to my stomach. I sit in my bed terrified as I contemplate whether or not to make a break for the lights. Hesitating, I finally spring up out of my bed and dash toward the light switch, flicking it on as I run out of the room. The following night, I refused to stay in that house, leaving my brother to spend the night alone. I had told Jose my experience the previous night, but he was skeptical about it and didn't seem to believe me. Jose fell asleep just around midnight when he was awoken by the familiar sound of what seemed to be a marble bouncing on the tile floor. Remembering what I had told him the night before, he quickly sat up in his bed to suddenly see the dark silhouette of a very tall figure stretching out his hand, holding a bright yellow marble. It suddenly loosened its grip and let the marble drop. Staring in disbelief, Jose raised his hands to his face to rub his eyes. But when he opened them again, the shadowy figure had vanished, and my brother was no longer able to sleep for the rest of the night due to the confusion and fright he felt. 2 weeks passed since we had last heard the marble, so me and my brother had just barely began to go to sleep with ease when I heard that terrible noise once again. But this time the sound was loud, close, and steady. Realizing the marble was circulating the bed, terrified, I turned to pat my brother to try to wake him up, but he sound asleep. I quickly reached for my flashlight and shined the beam towards the foot of my bed when the red marble bounces off the tile and across the light back into the darkness. I throw my blanket over my head and lay there shaking with the worst fear I felt in my life.
This is Dark 100, first witness testimony. My name is Armando Alvarado, and the story of the Chaiko and the character of Emiliano, which is my son's name, is based on me and my experience. The experience is 100% true, and this is my story.